Ladies and gentlemen, can I please have your attention?
I am that dude, Bodkins. Patty to patty. That's ridiculous. No way. There's nobody else out there. He's your guy. Give a big round of applause for the one and only BodkinShow. I'm going to repeat that again, folks. I didn't stutter. Welcome to the Bodkins Show. Good morning, everybody. I am that dude, Bodkins, of course. Welcome to another great episode of the Bodkin Show. It is our weekly wrap-up show. We used to do it on Wednesdays. Now we're doing it on Thursdays. So welcome. Good morning. Hope everybody's having a good week. You only got 2 days left of the work week, folks. And then the weekend hits. Before we get into the week that was in sports, let's talk about a few things that in case you missed it. Sunday night we did the week 12 reaction show, and then last night joined by several different people, we did our week 13 preview show, joined by, of course, Johnny Cruz, Big Slim, so if you and Tanner joined us for and on back end as well. So please check out all their stuff. Please check out that show. It was a lot of fun. Great podcast. Great, always, as always, with a few fellas. Oh, Big Slim's podcast, in case you guys want to miss it. Big Bucks guy. Swords and Cannons podcast. Really gave us insight on Tampa Bay, the struggles with Tom Brady, the offensive line. What's kind of going on there in Tampa Bay, because I think everybody wants to know what the hell was going on in there. So we got some answers. We picked every game against the spread, as always, as usual. So please check that out. If you get some time today, it'll be on Spotify and Apple Podcasts later today. But it is on the YouTube, right on the channel and on the Let's Talk Sports channel. Speaking of Let's Talk Sports, if you watch us on Let's Talk Sports, we're doing a huge giveaway. Dan Harris is doing a huge giveaway, as he continues to heal up, get better. Dan's always thinking about other people. He's as he continues to recover from his surgeries, he said, nah, I'm not worried about myself. I'm worried about everybody else. I'm going to keep the train moving. I'm going to do the biggest giveaway in LTS history. And all you have to do is 3 small things. You have to subscribe to, of course, the Bodkin Show, Let's Talk Sports, and Whiskey Sports Podcast. That's my guy Tanner's podcast. And then all you got to do is leave some comments. And that's it. And more comments you leave, the better chances you win. That goes from Thanksgiving to Christmas. And if you win $100, a jersey of your choice, and LTS mug and t-shirt. So, please subscribe to all 3 of those, leave some comments, and you got a chance to win. So let's jump into it. The week that was sports. We talk all NFL on Wednesday, so of course I don't really do a whole lot of NFL news. That'll change once the season ends and like free agency and all that stuff ends. Of course, we'll talk all about that stuff. But we got to talk college football. Your boy didn't do so good in his picks last week. In fact, I will I did real shitty. The only game I got right, we picked all the. Oh, that was this week. I wrote down this week. So let's go back to last week. Sorry. Lost the Tulane Cincinnati game. I lost Michigan, Ohio State. Michigan just absolutely goes into the horseshoe and rolls Ohio State. Oregon loses to Oregon State. What are they doing here? The only game I did get right, and the team that's I think is real hot, folks, is USC, and we'll talk a little bit about them here in just a minute. I went 1 and 5. Oh, sorry, 1 and 4. I mean, what's the difference of 1 and 5, 1 and 4? They both stink. So let's get into this week. So the rankings are out. The playoffs ended today. Now, all 4 of these teams are in their conference championship game. They win, and you're in. It's number 1, Georgia, of course. Number 2, Michigan. We just talked about it. Goes into Ohio State, blows out Ohio State. What's going on with Ohio State? This is the second year in a row. Everything to play for. And Michigan just beats them. This is the first time Michigan beat Ohio State since like 2000. Who was I think like not even Chad Henne was the quarterback then. Man, I don't even remember who the quarterback was. But Jim Harbaugh gets this another big win in Ohio State. Is it because Urban Meyer's gone? Like, what's the deal there? Is that the case? Who knows? I mean, I seen some people calling for Urban to come back to Ohio State. That ain't happening. They're not going to fire Day, are they? Because he lost 2 games to Michigan the last 2 years. I mean, they didn't show up. That game. I mean, Michigan just outright just stomped on them, especially in that second half. TCU is 3, and USC, the lone one-loss team, in there as the Georgia, Michigan, TCU, all undefeated. Here's USC. I think real hot. Got a chance to win the Pac-12, and let's get into that game. They play Utah. Utah is a 2.5 dog. USC, that Utah's beat USC. That's their lone loss in the season. Can they avenge the loss and get in? Boy, this is why Lincoln Riley went to USC, folks. USC is back. If you're my age or a little bit even older, you remember the USC days of Pete Carroll and all them boys when they were just running roughshod, winning national titles in the title picture year in and year out. The Matt Leinart, the Carson Palmer, even Mark Sanchez, those boys, Reggie Bush, Mike Williams, Troy Polamalu, who else they had? They had some dogs. Clay Matthews. I mean, that defense, they always had a good defense. Anyway, I digress. This USC defense is improving. Their offense is absolutely stud. Caleb Williams is going to win the Heisman. Give me USC on they're actually playing on a decent time. I think it's like 7:00 on Friday night. I'm going to double check. Everybody needs to watch it on Friday. Get a good look at Caleb Williams. It is 7 p.m. Central, 6 Eastern or 8 Eastern. So USC, I know it's hard to watch because it's so late, but I'm telling you, that team's a wagon, folks. Give me USC at -2.5. They revenge their loss. They're in the playoffs. They punched their ticket to the playoffs. Let's go, Trojans. Watch Caleb Williams, folks. Kid's the real deal. Very high on him. Don't let me down, Caleb, because I'm talking highly of you. He'll probably throw 3 picks, lose the game. But next, and then we get into Saturdays. All the title games on Saturday outside of the Pac-12. It's LSU. I mean, LSU has slid. They had everything to play for, and once they lost to South Carolina a couple weeks ago, it was all said and done for LSU's playoff chances. And now they went from like number 7. Remember, they were right there. They beat Georgia. One of these, really, if they just would have beat Georgia, they probably would have got in, but they couldn't handle their business. And they fall all the way to 14. And now they play Georgia. It's 17.5. 17.5. Can't do it. I think Georgia wins. But 17.5 spread. Give me the Tigers. This is a Tiger team that beat. I know this game's not playing in Death Valley, but give me the Tigers at plus 17.5. I can't pick. That's just too hard to spread. I like Georgia to win the money line, but LSU's got some talent. I think they're still a year away, as we've seen. And but yeah, give me the Tigers, but give me the Bulldogs money line. Craig wants to know if Georgia were to lose, they still get. Yeah, they get in. They've been the best team in the country, Craig, all year. They're getting in, and they're the defending champions. Who are you going to put in with them with the one loss? Ohio State? No. Bama? No. Georgia beat them head to head. Right? Did Georgia beat them? Was that their second loss? Maybe. Yeah, it was. So, oh wait, no, it wasn't. That was Tennessee. They haven't played this year. I still take Georgia. I still take Georgia if they get in. I don't think they're losing. Uh, let's see. The next game, the ACC championship. You have number 9 Clemson, number 22 UNC. Give me Clemson at -7.5. I know this ain't the Trevor Lawrence, Deshaun Watson, Clemson Tigers, but they're still the Clemson Tigers. They can handle business against North Carolina. Then you have the AAC championship game, number 18 Tulane versus number 22 UCF. Yeah, give me Tulane -4. Oh, the one game I didn't write down here is the Pac-12 championship. Now, Craig, you asked me about the only team I think if they lose on Saturday that would be out. Well, USC would be out because they would have 2 losses, and then you're looking at maybe Alabama getting in with 2 losses, or yeah, or maybe Ohio State. Does Ohio State get in? I don't know. But if USC loses, or even if TCU loses to Kansas State, Kansas number 10, Kansas State number 3, TCU in the Big 12 championship game. You know what, folks? I'm taking TCU. Handle business, TCU. Give me the TCU Horned Frogs -2.5. And then we get to the Big 10 championship game. Everything's to play for number 2 Michigan. You already beat Ohio State. That was the real title game. They're going to be able to beat Purdue here at -16.5. Yeah, give me the Wolverines, baby. Purdue stinks. Give me Michigan at plus our -16.5. Double tap there. And so I really think that we're seeing the 4 teams that are in. They're going to stay in. I'm a little worried about TCU. I think if TCU and obviously if USC loses on Friday night, then it's going to be a battle of Ohio State or Alabama. Which one of those 2 teams get in? And if TCU loses, they both could get in. I know Alabama has 2 losses, but they lost on last second plays. Obviously the Tennessee game and was like a very last second, and then LSU game, last plays of the games. So I think Alabama could still squeak in if USC or TCU if USC loses, it'll be who should get in at that point in time. Ohio State with 1 loss or Alabama with 2 losses. And right now, if you think about it, the way Tennessee and LSU have played after they beat Bama, I don't know, man. It'd be tough. Because, now those losses don't look as great as they once did. But, in context, we know that those teams were hot when they were playing them. Tennessee looked like one of the best teams in the country, was ranked number 1 at one point in time. I mean, then Georgia just put it on them. So I think that was and I think you could say that. Well, I don't. If Georgia absolutely, that's why Georgia's getting in. I mean, Georgia's getting in regardless whether they lose. Let's get into some other news here. So we're going to stay in college land here and talk a little college basketball. I know it's super early, so I'm not going to hit a whole lot, but we got to talk just a few things. North Carolina already 3 losses. Usually losses like this don't mean much so early. To me, you start paying towards college basketball January once they get into conference play, February, and then obviously March Madness. But real surprising, I was looking at the rankings. Houston number 1. Houston, number 1. That's right. And then Texas, number 2. Texas Longhorns, number 2 team in the nation. So keep an eye on those teams, both undefeated. Purdue looks like a wagon right now as well. So Craig saying Ohio State lost to Michigan, better than Alabama, 2 losses to non-playoff teams. Hey, Craig, if you're on the committee, man, you in USC or TCU lose, that Ohio State could get in by that very knowledge right there. That's pretty much it for the college basketball news. Not gonna, not a whole lot here. NBA news. Devin Booker dropped a 50 piece on the Bulls last night. MVP chance rained out. I mean, that kid can score. We know that. I mean, we've seen him drop 50. He's a walking bucket. What I'd like to see out of Booker is just really that next step of leadership, because we know the kid can score. I mean, we know he's a walking bucket, but I'd like to see him be able to lead a team. Chris Paul's kind of been that leader, but Chris Paul's, man, he's been getting up there in age. And I'd like to see Devin Booker take that next step as a leader. Can he take the game over when your team needs it the most? That's what I would like to see from Devin Booker. When your team's backs are against the wall, can he be the one that leads them the whole way? Because, I mean, we know the kid could shoot. Kid's awesome. I mean, one of the best players in the league. But I'd like to see him take that next step up into the, that stratosphere as one of the best 4 or 5 best ball players in the NBA. He has the talent to do so. In other news, Karl Anthony Towns out 4 to 6 weeks. Remember the Timberwolves went kind of all in, made the trade for Rudy Gobert. Now their best player is out 4 to 6 weeks. It's going to be tough. I still think they can make the playoffs. It's a long season, but 4 to 6 weeks, I mean, you're talking a month and a half without your best player. If they can play 500 basketball through that and then, work them back in, they'll be just fine. Another, NBA, Utah Jazz. Remember, they were a nice story starting out, after they traded away everybody. Well, like all things, they come back, they middled out, and now they are lost 8 of the last 10. 8 of the last 10. So yeah, they are who we thought they were. That's kind of it for the NBA news. Not gonna. I mean, again, the NBA to me don't really start till Christmas. It's too much going else on in the world. The NBA needs to push it back. And then I saw that I don't understand what the hell's sometimes leagues can get too cute. Now the NBA is wanting to do like this in-season tournament. Can we just play in 60 games? That's all you need. Just play 60 games. The top, I don't even like the 8 seed. Like, there's too many teams that make the playoffs. There's 16 and there's only like 30 teams. No. I think 6 it'd be, and then they have this play-in, the play-in playoffs. It's too cute for me. Get rid of all of it. I'd like to go to 60 games. I guess I wouldn't mind seeing the 8, still the 8 teams, but I think they need to go back to best 2 out of 3 for the first round, or best of 5 in the first round, and stop playing this. The whole NBA playoff format frustrates me. Play games back to back. Don't play game 1 on Monday and wait to play game 2 on Sunday. I hate all of that. So I mean, it's just it's too cute. Your season's just play basketball. Stop trying to do this in-season tournament and all this other weird stuff. It's not that complicated. Just cut your season down to about 60 games. Get rid of this whole play-in stupid playoff tournament thing to the, where the 10 seed gets in the 8 seed, and they, don't need none of that. If you're not one of the best 8 teams in your conference after 82 games, there's no need to it. Now they want to add some weird mid-season tournament. Get rid of that. Don't care. Nobody wants that. I mean, none of that stuff needs to happen. Just play. I'd like to cut the season down about 60 games, and let's go. You want to do 8? Then the first round needs to be best of 3 or best of 5, and then go from the best of 7 in the second round, best of 7 in the Eastern Conference Finals, and then best of 7 in the NBA Finals. It's not that complicated. You guys are making things too complicated. Come on, Silver, be better, do better. It's ridiculous. All right, let's get into MLB news. Slow start to slow start to the playoff. Our hot stove. Judge is nowhere to be signed yet. No DeGrom. No super big names. The only big name right now, Jose Abreu, former White Sox first baseman, headed to the Astros. Or the rich get richer. I think that was kind of, they were looking for a first baseman. Trey Mancini is a free agent. They bring in Jose Abreu. Nice piece. Guy who can add. I'm glad because now he's away from the White Sox, but now he's with the Astros, the defending champs. So they get that. And what is going on with them too, man? Their GM bounces, their assistant GM gets fired. Owners kind of pushing fingers and things like that. Kind of weird situation. Dusty Baker's back on a 1-year deal. I mean, Dusty probably could. If I was Dusty Baker, he probably should have rode off into the sunset with the World Series win. But I mean, he's a baseball lifer. That's all he knows. He probably is just one of them guys that, you know, he's been around, played all them years, managed all these years, has managed my whole life. I feel like several different teams. So he's just a baseball lifer. I get it, but man, he's like 80 years old, dog. It's time to hang it up. That's MLB news. Got to talk about the World Cup, baby. USA. I believe that we will win. I believe that we will win. Advances to the Sweet 16. I guess if you want to call it the Sweet 16, right? They advance. Big win on. They get their first win of the tournament on Tuesday. They beat Iran 1-0, as they would say in soccer land. 1-0. Now they got Saturday. They're playing the Netherlands. Got to win, because if you lose, season's over. World Cup's over. Well, I guess it's not a season. World Cup is over. The dream is over. And then you got to wait another 4 years when they come back to the States. And hopefully we'll see. I think they're playing in the States next. So, yeah, the round of Sweet 16. Like I was saying, the Sweet 16. And then Argentina, man, they were getting a lot of heat, but they find a way. They're in this. They play Australia on Saturday. And so they only have half of the bracket made out right now. France and Poland, England, and some country I never heard of, Singali, are in as well. I believe Brazil's in. They just don't have them listed here for some odd reason. Brazil's been, man, they look like an absolute wagon. So yeah. Portugal's looked really good. I think Brazil, Portugal, like if you're one of those two teams, man, they're probably, those are the teams you got to be worried about going forward. But let's go USA. I mean, to me, this is like what you wanted. That anything, if you can get to the quarterfinals, if USA can get past the Netherlands to get to the quarterfinals, yeah, then I think it, to me, like you can't, like, that's a victory in itself. But we'll see. We got to get past the Netherlands on Saturday. 9 a.m. Wake up early, drink some coffee, watch a little college game day, and then flip it over at 9 a.m. to USA Netherlands, baby. Let's go, USA. We need it. Got to have it. Good young group there. we'll see what happens with USA on Saturday. MMA news, we got to get into some UFC. Big fight card this weekend, finally. Uh, Luckily, it's not in the glorious Apex. It is the Kevin Holland, Stephen Wonderboy Thompson. This card's pretty loaded, man. I'm looking at it right now. I mean, Jack Hermanson's on this card. He's taking a short notice fight against. He was supposed to fight Derek Brunson, and Brunson had to pull out due to injury. So I like Jack Hermanson to keep winning here. Tai Tuivasa's back, baby. The Shoey taking on Sergey Pavlovich. Remember, Pavlovich just beat Derek Lewis a couple months ago, and Tai coming off a loss against Surreal Gone, which was incredible fun. I mean, it was only like 3 rounds, but man, it was just so much fun. These guys got some knockout power. You know, you know who I'm going with. I'm going with my boy Shoey, Tai Tuivasa. Give me him. Give me Tai. Are they going to have 2 unquote Bam Bams on this card too? Because Ryan Bam Bam Barberina in the co-main against RDA. RDA moved him back to welterweight. And how's that the co-main? I mean, with all due respect to the great RDA, I feel like the co-main should be Tai Tuivasa and Sergey Pavlovich as far as rankings stand, right? Like Tai is a top 5 heavyweight. Sergey is coming on strong. He's like in the top 10 as well. And you got that as the 4th. Sure, you got that as the 4th card of the fight. Maybe there's like, that fight's not going to last long. Then you got Matt Schnell. I mean, remember the last time we saw Matt Schnell, he had a heck of a comeback. I thought he was down and out, and he came back and won in the flyweight. He's taking on Matthias Nicolou. And then the co-main, again, RDA versus Brian Barberena. These guys aren't even ranked. Barberena's not ranked in the welterweight. Good fun fight though. I mean, he's just coming off a win against Robbie Lawler. RDA moving back up to welterweight. Says he's done at lightweight. I'm kind of surprised that RDA took this fight because he said he wanted big fights. I mean, does Brian Barberena really move the needle? I don't really think so. And then the main event, Stephen Wonderboy Thompson taking on Kevin Big Mouth Holland. I love Kevin Holland. That fight's going to be a fun fight. It's going to be a good striking fight. But give me the younger, fun kid in Kevin Holland. I do like Wonderboy. He's been around a long time, a veteran in this game. But give me Kevin Holland to win that fight. Let me look. I was going to look at Kevin Holland's not ranked, but he will be if he beats Wonderboy. I don't believe he's ranked. I'm going to double check here real quick. So I wanted to. Surreal. So Tai is number 4. Pavlovich is number 5, and that's the 4th fight on the card, or the number 2. Like that's not even the co-main. Are you kidding me? I've seen y'all have stupid freaking main events worse than that fight. In the stupid Apex. Come on, UFC. Dana. Speaking of the heavyweights, before I get in, looks like Francis Ngannou and John Jones looks to be happening in March. I mean, we haven't seen John Jones in 3 years. So at that point in time, remember it was like right before the pandemic he fought. And by that time, it'll be 3 years since John Jones fought. And I mean, really over a year at that point for Francis to fight. Also, in other news and UFC news, we're going to try to do a little head kicks and haymakers this weekend as well, because there's so much going on. I might just have to do it myself. But Yuri Prohaska has to relinquish the title. Injury looks like he's going to be out. Now it's going to be Jan Blachowicz versus Magomedov Ankalaev on the next pay-per-view. Card kind of took a huge hit wasn't already great, but now it's really taken a huge hit for the light heavyweight title. Really felt like they should have had Glover and Jan. I would have liked to seen that fight a little bit better, but I mean, we'll get into more of that on Head Kicks and Haymakers. What was I looking at? I think that's what. I was looking at the welterweight. Yeah, Wonder Boy is 5. So I mean, if and Kevin Holland's not. Remember, he was gonna try to fight. He probably would have been ranked a couple of weeks, not too long ago, but he was supposed to fight D-Rod. And then the last time we saw Kevin Holland, he was getting ragdolled by Hamzat on a fight he took on short notice. So he never should have been in. But if he could beat Wonder Boy, I mean, that'll put him right there in the top 10 for sure. I'd like to see him and Sean Brady go at it next if that's what happens. Anyway, that's pretty much it, man. I appreciate everybody tuning in. Again, please like, subscribe, share, be a friend, tell a friend. Make sure you're doing the giveaway for Let's Talk Sports. Dan, we miss you, brother. Get healthy. Appreciate you. Hope everybody has a great weekend. This has been another great episode of the Bodkin Show. We'll catch you. I'll be back Sunday morning with the little Head Kicks and Haymakers. Hopefully the boys will be able to join, or maybe we'll do it Saturday night. I don't know. We'll see. And then we'll be back for sure Sunday night with our week 13 reaction show. And then also Sunday, check us out on Let's Talk Sports. I'm on the morning show with Tanner, Johnny, and we always have a roundup, a bunch of different guests. So everything's going on at Let's Talk Sports. You got a team. We got you covered. So appreciate everybody. Thank you. We'll catch you on Sunday. Have a good rest of the weekend. Let's go USC. Don't let me down, Caleb Williams. I'm going to hit that outro, baby.